The fruit of my life will tell me and show me if my life is complicated or not. The fruit of my life will show and tell me if my life is complicated or not, right? Are you making your life complicated? That's what the minister asked the young adults in my church not too long ago, and it still convicts me to this day because I got to ask myself this daily. Am I making my life complicated or more complicated than it has to be, right? Let's break down the weight of that, right? What is fruit? Fruit is what we produce, right? Whatever we bear. As whatever's on the inside of our heart will come to the forefront. As an apple tree bears apples, as a peach tree bears peaches. What is on the inside of our heart will come out, right? The question is, the journey is this good fruit or bad fruit? Jesus talked about it in Matthew, where it was like, you will know them by their fruit. Judge them by their fruit. They say they with me. They say they do all these good things. They say these things. I don't care about your status. Don't worry about their status. Don't judge them by how many records they sold, how many championships they won, how much money they have, what's their status. Don't care. Don't judge them by that. Judge them by what they produce daily. What do they preach daily? What fruit do they bear daily? Because the apple tree doesn't eat his own apples. You feel me? It's for the person that's coming by. So people who are watching these influencers, we're all influencers, by the way. You don't have to have 1 million followers. You influence people daily. So the people who are watching your life, what fruit are you bearing to them? What are you influencing them to do, right? What is good fruit, though? Good fruit is fruit that we produce or we bear that influences people to do good things, right? That put us in the right standing with God as what God originally planned it to have, right? He wanted us to be together, love each other, love us more abundantly, being able to communicate and love him, right? This is how God always wanted this plan to be. Adversary got in between that, right? Bad fruit is the exact opposite. Bad fruit preaches divisiveness, anger, hatred, bigotry. You know, like, we would have definitely avoided this current administration had we knew how to judge by fruits correctly, right? But I digress. You feel me? But I digress. You feel me? So let's go back to that. Bad fruit puts us in position to sin, right? What is sin? Sin is the breaking of God's eternal law. If God gave a law which is dummy-proof, bulletproof, fail-proof, whatever, he put a line and guardrails on the road so that we don't go over the railings or we don't hurt ourselves or harm others. If you break that law, you're harming someone, right? That's all God wants. God wants us to love each other and love him. That's it. That's it. So we're in this. So when sin happens, this world is full of sin, right? It's stuff that's just going to happen because people letting their flesh run wild. There's only two ways to walk, right? It's walking in your spirit and walking in your lust of the flesh, right? The spirit cares about the betterment of men. The spirit is always going to go the long way. It always knows where home is, heaven. That's what God wants, right? Your spirit is always locked in with God. Your spirit is fighting towards God every day. Your flesh, on the other hand, does not care about none of that. You feel me? Your flesh cares about right now. Me. How do I satisfy myself? I don't care about how people feel. I don't care who gets hurt in the process. I don't care who feelings get hurt or whatever. I would do anything I can to satisfy myself, right? That's why I constantly ask myself this every day, every morning, because if you let your flesh run wild, you put yourself in position to sin. For example, lust and adultery, right? If I got wandering eyes and I see some fine Jones walking by, if I react on everything I see and lay with this woman relations, that relationship was not founded on God, so it becomes a complication, right? For example, children are always a blessing from the Lord, no matter what. It's always a blessing from the Lord, but me having all the different households to take care of creates a complicated life. What is a complication? A complication is something that hinders you from an ideal situation or ideal life, right? Think about COVID, for example. COVID itself was dangerous, right? It was terrifying. We were scared of COVID, right? It was deadly, but we were more terrified for the older generation. Why? For the older generation, because they had health complications, bad heart here, a bad lung there. It puts them in a tough position to survive COVID if they were to catch it. You feel me? So God already told us life is going to be tough, but don't make it tougher by breaking his law, which is in the way to protect you. Like, I don't get people who are anti-God or anti-law because you think it's freedom, but you just want freedom to hurt yourself, and it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. So when you produce good fruit, it puts you in the right standing with God and what he wants you to do. God only wants the best for you and the future you and your family. So if you were to listen to God from the jump, you put yourself, your older you, in a better position. For example, splurging and not paying your credit card bill. Cool for the moment. That's how the flesh works. it's cool for the moment. I need to buy these things. I need to buy these sneakers. I need to buy these things. But in the future, you was going to regret your decisions because you put yourself in a bad position. Now you can't buy a home. You feel me? Like, everything doesn't have to be spiritual. For example, Brian James. Brian James played in the league for 20 years. If you want to be like LeBron James, playing the league for 20 years and all of that good stuff, he produces fruit of discipline and integrity. Saying no to certain things. Stop hanging around certain crowds. This is how you preserve your life in the NBA. That's good fruit. It doesn't have to be spiritual all the way. But we could talk about fruit of the spirit a whole nother time. But those things encourages you to do good things for yourself and your future you. And obviously him doing the school is also producing more good fruit to help the neighborhood, help the younger generation get to where they got to get and back to God. That's all it's about. God wants all of us to come back to him. Y'all be easy, all right? It's that simple.